Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, and if you're new to my channel, I have been doing this challenge in which I have to draw characters for 30 days until I actually get hired. So if I get hired at any point, I can just leave it at that. But that's a hard challenge that I accepted, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I thought that it's gonna be easy and I just wake up and draw something. But you know what? My sleep cycle is cycling. It absolutely is. Every single day I'm uploading a video, and every day it's an hour later, like an hour delay every single day. At first it was 10 a.m. and then it began to move. Then it was 11 a.m. and then it was 1 p.m. and then it was 3 p.m. and now we're at 4 p.m. I guess. I had no idea it's gonna be that hard for me to manage myself. It's astonishing how I underestimated the difficulty of the challenge. I might be regretting this, but we did it. We have to go through this. I mean, I have no choice, man. I have no choice. And let me tell you something very funny about the way I had breakfast today. When I have breakfast in the morning, I have to be chill. I have to be in a quiet place. I have to take my time, not be in a rush. You know, I'm slower in the morning because I just need a moment. I just woke up. I need a moment before I get back to reality. So it's kind of me managing my mindset. And it's funny because this morning I was stirring my oatmeal and trying to think about what I'm gonna draw today. And as I was doing this, I was looking at the color of my oatmeal and trying to figure out what sort of color is there. So when you're looking at something, you might think, for example, yeah, it's an apple, it's red, it's a red apple. But you know what? It's so many shades of red. It's not just red, it's hundreds of colors. And what your mind does is to unify all of that color because they're so near to each other and call them red. And when you're looking at someone's face, you might say they have skin color of this and that, but that would be wrong because they're not just one color, they're numerous colors. They are red, they are purple, they are yellow, but that's just when you zoom in. When you're zooming out, we see just one unified color. I was actually getting some work done when I was having some breakfast. That is funny. It's like, okay, if you want to have a mindful breakfast, here you go, Sarah. Make your mind full of work. That's called mindful. Okay, that was a stupid joke. But you see, now I have to sleep fast. I have to eat fast. Eating fast is not an option because I hate it. But sleeping fast, I don't know how that works. It's just non-existent. So there's nothing to do about it. But there's something I can do. I can draw faster. I can become a faster character designer. And that's a very viable option here. And as I am doing this, now I'm getting so much better at it. Like in the past, I would just struggle to draw one hand or draw the movement of one hand or even the feet. But some days I'm like, okay, so we have to do it fast. But I end up just resorting to what I already know and like drawing those poses. And that's what I remind myself to not do, to not become complacent and just keep on learning because there's so many things that you don't know. You have no idea how much you don't know. So keep adding new references to your bucket list and take them off. Draw them every day. Because when you're drawing from reference, every reference that you draw is going to become a part of your memory. Now you know how to draw that pose. If it feels easy, then you're doing something wrong because you're not practicing something new. You're practicing what you already know. So do something harder. Like learning is only going to happen if you're actually struggling. That's when you're learning. Otherwise, you're just doing the same thing and you might feel like you know so much. But it's just because you didn't expose yourself to new territories. And that's a trap that sometimes we fall into. But it's okay, we have to just get out of it. And if your attention span is not good, work on it. Mine was terrible a few months ago, and it was all because I was spending so much time on my phone and I wasn't even noticing how it's affecting my brain. So if you think that you have low attention span, work on it. That might be the reason that you're resorting to something that might be easier. I mean, like I had that problem, but when you're working on your attention span, you're gonna feel like you're wasting your time in a way, because you've been in this cycle of getting so fast to the point and jumping from one thing to another and getting so distracted in the process, not knowing what you're doing, but just trying to get to the next one, to the next one. And the way I'm trying to work on my attention span is to read books. And ultimately, if you want to get so hardcore, you can memorize poems because they will help you a lot. Now you're focusing on something for a long period of time and you're making yourself sit down and actually make deep connections with words and really focus on it. So that's how you learn. Focusing, deep focus is how you learn. And there's no other ways around it. You can't just jump from one thing to another and call it learning. That's not how it works. And what does that even have to do with drawing? Well, when you're drawing, you have to really have a very good attention span to be sitting down for a long period of time. Otherwise, you're just gonna be distracted by all sorts of things. Making sure that you're good to go and you can focus on something and you can learn the fundamentals while you're at it. Making sure that that condition is provided is necessary because it prevents the situation in which you're just doodling away your time and just making no progress. And don't get me wrong, doodling is like my favorite activity. Whenever I'm feeling a bit unsure, I just doodle on. That's how I rest as an artist. But I'm saying if you want to actually learn and you want to dedicate a specific amount of time to learning, that's what I'm talking about. And for me, it's all about how I balance between easier activities and harder activities. If you're doing something hard forever, that's just gonna feel very overwhelming, and that's a balance that you need to keep in your artistic workflow. But there's another factor. You have to enjoy the work. Otherwise, you're gonna learn so slow and your learning is just gonna come to a halt all the time. If you want to have a very smooth learning process, then gamify it, make it fun. I don't know, whatever you do you. And that's the secret to learning the hardest thing. That's exactly the trick. And the process that I am having here, learning how to design characters, is not that easy because like for the first time, I'm actually focusing on building a character as if I am building it for a film or an animation or a comic book, like a character that I want to really focus on deeply. I'm doing it by studying other artists' work, and that's helping me in identifying how I can make a certain pose, because in the past I would just draw something and it would look so stiff, as if that thing that I drawn was just a wood stick. It would feel so unnatural and very robotic. But the way that you can remove that is by studying the movement of each part of the body and trying to break it down, and also try to draw so many different poses. Like when you want to draw someone sitting or standing, all of those poses are so freaking different in gesture, in perspective, in angle, like so many differences between one camera shot and another. And that's how you're gonna improve, by adding those references to your visual libraries, by getting into drawing them. When you draw them, you're engaging with it, your brain is much more ready to register that into your memory. And that's what I'm trying to do in this challenge, trying to study as many artworks as I can, study as many references as I can. And for references, I would just have this shot of a certain movie that I like and try to draw them, because that's the way that I make it fun. So like I said before, we have to make it fun, and if I am interested in a certain movie, I am more likely to have fun drawing that character. And that's it. We actually made it to the day 4. That's something to celebrate. And I'm so grateful for all of you who are watching this video right now, because the only purpose of sharing it is to maybe somehow inspire somebody else to do the same. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that I can see you in the next video. Have a nice day and stay creative.